Hello, this is Group 5 from Tutorial02E. We have 5 members. I am Liu Zhuhui, 116499459.
I am Yuan Ya, 116489000.
I am Li Jing, 11647530.
I am Liu Yujing, 11661081.
I'm Xie Xingyu, 116492889.
Okay, in this video, we are going to present you our group project on Case 3, How to Cater for Dyslexia. And the first part of our presentation is the analysis of special education needs in Case 3. The student in this case is Karen, a 9-year-old primary 4 student studying in a mainstream primary school. This part of presentation will be divided into 2 main sections. The first is academic needs, covering reading ability and writing ability. The second is social, emotional, and behavioral needs, with the focus on learning motivation and self-confidence. Let's start with the first section, academic needs, and we will first talk about reading ability. After our analysis, we found that Karen faces 3 key difficulties in reading. First, phonological decoding and word recognition challenges. As shown in the case and pictures, when reading Chinese characters, Karen often mixes up similar-looking ones. For example, she read xiao as kao and lu zhang as lao zhang, and she noted looking a bit unsure after the teacher corrected her. In English reading, she also has the same issue. She often pauses for several seconds before saying a word, and sometimes replaces unfamiliar words with similar-looking ones, like reading wave as words and sand as stand. All these situations reflect her difficulty in phonological decoding and word recognition. Second, lack of reading fluency. As the case describes, even after the teacher suggested she try reading the passage again, Karen was still confused about some common words. Her reading pace was very slower than her classmates, and even after corrections, her reading remains halting and monotone without proper phrasing. Third, weak reading comprehension. During the comprehension discussion, when asked why was the boy happy at the end of the story, Karen stared at her worksheet, flipped pages back and forth, and answered softly, because he went home. This shows that she couldn't deeply or profoundly understand what the passage was about. Next, the second part of academic needs is writing ability, especially spelling. The case clearly reflects that Karen has great difficulty with spelling basic words. For example, when asked to describe her own beach experience, she spent a long time trying to spell simple words like water and sun. After asking, "Is this right?" while erasing and rewriting multiple times, by the end of the lesson, her paper was full of cross-out and unfinished sentences. Therefore, Karen requires support through multisensory spelling strategies to improve her writing. Now, moving on to the second main section, social, emotional, and behavioral needs, with the focus on learning motivation and self-confidence. Karen urgently needs to experience academic success to break the failure, frustration, avoidance cycle. From the case, we can see that Karen would say things like, "Why do I always get the words wrong?" And when her classmates tried to whisper the correct words to help her, she looked flustered and said quietly, "I can do it myself." These words and behavior fully reflect that she is facing difficulties with learning motivation and self-confidence. So this is the end of the first part, the analysis of special education needs for Karen.
Based on Karen's problem, our group member figured out some solutions catering for her learning needs. The first one come to our mind is that making a new reading material seems like a good choice. This reading material is reconstructed and especially customized. Teacher convert the text into visual materials, use light yellow manuscript paper as the background and small images next to the vocabulary wave, sand, sun, and water. Then print this material on A4 paper for students to use in the reading class. This page shows more details so we can take a look together clearly. From the top, we can find the title A Day at the Beach. This time, it is designed with a more preferable font. Then we can find the paste color background, which is light yellow. Part 3 shows effective background image, and Part 4 is about the textual reconstruction. The image appears after the text as a prompt and buffer. And this reading material obeys these 3 principles. First, the main body of the story is broken down into small parts. To be precise, this long text was divided into 5 parts, which lessens students' reading stress. So Karen would not hesitate much then when she read a textbook. Next, let's talk about the principle 2. The redesigned reading material is obviously structured. This reading material is meticulously designed, which cater to the reading habits of most students, featuring titles at the top, text arranged vertically, and background images at the bottom to enhance comprehension. The text and visual aids also show a very high matching rate. The last principle is about visual aids. We teachers like using visual aids very often, and the point is how we design and how to apply it in the reading class. Helping students to learn, the pictures aid students' difficulties to understand the whole story. These visual aids can also help to reduce barriers so that students can read independently. And during the class, I will play segmental audio 2 or 3 times to help students better perceive the text. They can feel every word, senses how they pronounce. Then the students have a very general understanding of the story. I will encourage them to think as much as possible, carefully consider how the spoken words and the text content correspond, and try to read it aloud. The expected result I want to achieve is that those who have dyslexia can not only speed up when they are reading, but also can improve the accuracy of reading the corresponding words. And I also hope that most of the other students can keep their attention and be interested in class through this reading material. Visual aids are helpful. It reduces the time readers spend on words, making reading smoother and helping them understand word meanings faster. This teaching material isn't exclusively designed for children with dyslexia. Conventional classroom instruction proved effective for them, particularly when teaching reading comprehension strategies and text structure. Such methods not only precisely support dyslexia learners, but also boost the regular students' interest in classroom reading. And in future reading sections, I think this serves as a basic visual supplement. It will evolve into an audio, visual, video, or ebook, using multisensory methods to make reading more enjoyable for Karen. And these are the reference. So these are all my sharings. Thank you.
Okay, given Karen's difficulties in writing, we also designed a graphic organizer and an editing checklist. I will analyze how we designed them and why they work for Karen's special needs, meanwhile suit for all students in the classroom. Our first case strategy is a scaffolded writing framework based on Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. The zone of proximal development is the gap between what a learner can do by themselves and what they can achieve with guidance and support from someone more skilled. The support is called scaffolding. For Karen, it's difficult to write the whole paragraph right now, so we break down the essay writing into 4 steps, from the topic sentence to supporting details like the Saturday activity and Sunday activity and the conclusion. And we also added pre-printed sentence like last week, I do something with somebody and somebody. That scaffolds Karen's ability to construct complete sentences while supporting the whole class. And we also used color-coded words like blue for Saturday, red for Sunday to help Karen distinguish visually similar words and reduce her word confusion. For lower-level students, the sentence starters and visual cues can provide a clear structure for them, and the extended tasks, for example, add descriptive details, can challenge higher-level students in the classroom. And according to Education Bureau's policy, schools should provide appropriate support to students based on their individual situations and SEN by adopting the 3-tier intervention model to effectively cater for their diverse learning needs. That policy's tier 2 support is for students like Karen. It says we need small group tools that focus on paragraph structure and details. So the graphic organizer can work for 4 to 6 person group. In the group, Karen fill in the blank. Others add adjectives or specific details, and advanced kids can write extended sentences. all the students in the classroom can benefit from the material. And the editing checklist works for everyone. Instead of a vague revise your work, it gives well-organized instructions. Karen can check her handwriting spellings and punctuation marks to avoid her uneven handwriting and reversing radicals or incorrect homophones. Other students can check grammar and sentence completeness. Each item on the checklist is a small and achievable goal, and every checked box is a little win. Let students feel confident. The checklist meets Karen's special needs while moving the whole class forward. That's how we make the material for everyone. That's all.
So let's move to the third part. We want to share some class atmosphere strategies to create an inclusive and a supportive classroom environment to help students like Karen feel a stronger sense of belonging. So the first strategy is to co-constructing friendly speech guidelines to root roles in hearts. Traditional class roles are often unilaterally set by teachers, which easily leads to students' passive compliance. So we want to construct the friendly speech guidelines. The specific process has two steps. First, divide students into groups of 6. Each group discusses 2 core questions from a personal perspective. In what way do classmates' speeches or responses make you feel relaxed and willing to continue sharing? The second one is, what word have you heard, even unintentional one, that made you feel uncomfortable and unwilling to speak further? So after discussions, each group's representative shares key points, and the teacher records these points by category. For example, listening, expression, response, to ensure no valuable suggestions are missed. Second, refine these rules, and for example, regarding active listening, we clarify. If you don't hear a classmate clearly, raise your hand after they finish speaking and say, I didn't catch what you said about blah blah blah. Could you repeat it? This prevents the guidelines from being empty slogan. So after finalizing the guidelines, we need to put them into practice. Hold a weekly guideline review, inviting 1 to 2 students to share how they or their classmates followed the guidelines, even when students mention areas for improvement, like, I additionally interrupted Xiaohong yesterday and apologized later. We should promptly affirm. Taking the initiative to apologize is also following the guidelines. Recognizing and correcting mistakes is progress. Avoid turning the sharing into a criticism session. This approach aligns with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Rules such as do not laugh at others' mistakes and respond gently may meet Karen's safety needs, eliminating her fear of speaking up. The process of co-construction also makes her feel my ideas matter, satisfying her needs for belonging, giving her the courage to speak actively. And the second part is establishing a diversified progress medal system to let every student shine. A single academic excellence award often overlooks students with weaker foundations or shy personalities. Based on Skinner's operant conditioning theory, we have established a diversified progress medal system using positive reinforcement to stimulate students' intrinsic motivation. We've designed 3 types of progress medals, each with fully transparent selection criteria to ensure fairness and clarity. The first one is Most Dedicated Effort Award, which focuses on small academic progress by comparing students to their past selves. For example, Karen would qualify if she reduced her weekly spelling mistakes or improved her reading speed. To select winners, we rely on teachers' individual progress records. Students who show improvements in 2 or more indicators by Friday are shortlisted. The second one is Courage Breakthrough Award, which encourages students to set out of their comfort zones. Even imperfect attempts, like Karen raising her hand to answer a question for the first time or leading a group presentation, deserve recognition. So for this award, we use a combination of self-nomination that students can highlight their own courage and peer recommendation to celebrate efforts others notice. The third one is Mutual Assistance Star Award, which fosters a culture of help by recognizing actions like assisting a deskmate with math problem or practicing pronunciation with Karen or somebody else. Winners are determined through two channels: mutual help notes, where students write down helpful acts they witness, and teachers' daily classroom observations. Ensure no small acts of kindness goes unseen. So every Friday, reserve 5 minutes at the end of the class for a warm award ceremony. When announcing winners, explain the specific reasons. Karen wins the most dedicated effort award because she improved her reading speed by 15 seconds this week and practiced diligently every day. So let the winner stand at the front and the whole class applauds and says in unison, "Congratulations, we saw your effort." So for Karen, the medal is tangible recognition that my efforts pay off, while class congratulations is intangible motivation. Over time, this creates a positive cycle: attempt to progress to reward and to great willingness to attempt again. So this strategy is not only be effective through Karen, but also the whole class.
The last part of our presentation is about how we support Karen in class. This part will be divided into two sections. The first is classroom strategies, including the assigned partner system and the sharing our mistakes routine. The second is theoretical support, explaining why these ideas are important for a student like Karen. Let's start with the first strategy, assigned partner system. In this system, each student has an assigned learning partner. They follow three simple steps. First, before class, partners help each other check their books, notebooks, and worksheets. This small step helps Karen come to class feeling more prepared and less nervous. Second, theory reading. Partners remind each other of hard words. They try not to give the answer directly, but use small hints like, look at the first letter, or can you break this word into parts? This keeps Karen thinking instead of just copying. Third, after writing, partners share one thing they like in each other's work. For example, your first sentence is clear, or I like your idea here. This gives Karen more positive feelings about her writing. For Karen, her partner is Yo-Yo. The teacher will remind Yo-Yo to give hints instead of answers, and to be patient when Karen is stuck. In this way, Karen can stay in the Main Street classroom with her classmates. Next, the second strategy is the sharing our mistakes routine. This routine also has clear steps. First, the teacher shares a real mistake they once made in reading or writing. This makes the classroom atmosphere more relaxed. Second, students share small mistakes from their own work. Third, the class talks briefly about what went wrong and how to improve next time. The focus is not on blaming anyone, but on learning from the mistake. Over time, this helps Karen see mistakes as normal and safe. For a student with dyslexia, this is really important because it lowers her fear of reading aloud and her worry about always being wrong. Now, moving on to the second section, theoretical support. For the assigned partner system, the idea is linked to an inclusive classroom. Karen stays with her peers, but gets extra partner help. It also uses scaffolding. Yo-Yo gives step-by-step prompts and can slowly reduce support as Karen becomes more confident. For the sharing our mistakes routine, the key ideas are emotional support and the girl's mindset. Emotionally, this routine helps students with dyslexia feel less pressure, but they say that everyone makes mistakes. From a girl's mindset view, mistakes are seen as chances to learn. This can slowly change Karen's thinking about herself. So this is the end of our presentation. We hope that through these methods, Karen can not only improve her reading and writing, but also rebuild her confidence and motivation in learning. Thank you for listening.